Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was the most disappointing thing, says my son. I mean, how much can you possibly F up the entire finale to Star Wars?
And that is my terrible Plinkin impression. Welcome guys to my spoiler review of The Rise of Skywalker. The movie has been out for a couple weeks now, and I think it is a perfect time to do a spoiler review for this film. As you guys seen in my original review, you guys know that I was very let down with the movie. I thought it was a disappointing finale to not only the sequel trilogy, but the Skywalker saga in general, from the original film back in 1977 and from the prequels all the way up to now. We come this far, and the Skywalker Star Wars franchise come to a close like this. It really breaks my heart, but there are some people who really do like this movie. I would say, love this film. There are some Star Wars fans that love this film. I thought it was a perfect finale. Thought it was even go as far as say the best Star Wars movie.
Fantastic.
Go see it as quick as you can.
It was better than all of them.
I think the lightsaber battles were the greatest.
It was good, dude. It was really good.
So worth it. So worth it.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna go nuts. It was amazing.
Couldn't get enough of it. I want to see it again already.
It was amazing. It was everything I thought it was going to be and more.
I wouldn't go that far, but I also wouldn't go as far as saying that this is the worst movie ever. It's just a very disappointing movie, but I will be discussing some spoilers for this movie. And this is the type of film that I want to discuss some of the things that happened in this movie I want to discuss in my original review, but I can't do that without spoiling. So now, since I have finally had the time to say what I gotta say, here is my spoiler review of The Rise of Skywalker, and I will talk about some things that I like and I didn't like about this film. And at the end of my spoiler review, I will talk about the Skywalker saga in general and the sequel trilogy. Okay, so first things first, Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. Yep, that was completely unexpected. I'll admit, when I first saw that in theaters, that caught me off guard. Just like how back in 1980, how people weren't expecting Darth Vader to be Luke's father. And Rey being the granddaughter of Palpatine, I will have to admit that is a great idea. I actually like that idea. Because even though the biggest issue with this is that this movie retcons The Last Jedi. How Kylo told Rey that she is nothing and she's born from nothing and her parents are nobodies. It completely retcons that, and I just really did like how it goes from The Force Awakens, who are Rey's parents? The Last Jedi. Oh, they're nobody. Oh, in this film, oh, Rey's parents are her father is the son of Palpatine. It's just this whole sequel trilogy is very wish-washy, and that's just my biggest complaint with not only this film, but this entire trilogy. And it kind of makes me wish that J.J. Abrams would have directed the entire trilogy. That The Force Awakens, he directed that film, and he would have directed The Last Jedi. And I wish if he would have directed The Last Jedi, I really wish that he would have had some hints or something or a setup for this film to make, or for some connection with Rey and Palpatine, for them to be possibly related. Or, I don't know, just add something in The Last Jedi if JJ would have directed that film that would have built up to this movie with Palpatine's return and his connection to Rey. Or something, not just like The Rise of Skywalker, oh, Palpatine's in this movie because, and no explanation of how he really came back, because I still don't know how Palpatine's still alive after the Return of the Jedi. And speaking of Palpatine, who in their right mind has sex with Palpatine? If it was before he got disfigured in episode 3, then okay, I can get behind that. He wasn't bad looking. But if it was afterwards, when he got disfigured and crap, I'm I mean, okay, some people looked at me anything, but just, ew. Palpatine, getting, oh my god, I don't really want to think about that, but that was just the biggest elephant in the room in The Rise of Skywalker. Who was Rey's grandmother then? If she's Palpatine's granddaughter, who was her grandmother?
The world may never know.
Next one is, of what Finn wanted to tell Rey while they were going to the quicksand. Now, this was something in a movie that completely went nowhere. Like, Finn wanted to tell Rey something very, very important, and then, as soon as he survived the quicksand, Rey told him what he had to say, then Finn said, "I'll tell you later." Then he never tells her. Like, even like afterwards, like not even at the end of the movie, he had to tell Rey what he had to say. Even Poe asked Finn what he wanted to tell Rey. That's when Finn said, "You're still on it?" Like, that thing, like, I honestly thought that Finn was going to confess his feelings for Rey, and that he loved her, because from The Force Awakens and a little bit in The Last Jedi, you could definitely feel the could they maybe sort of thing between Finn and Rey, which I would have been all down for. I've been supporting Finn and Rey since The Force Awakens, because I thought that these two were eventually going to get together in the last film of the trilogy. But it turns out that JJ and John Boyega confirmed that Finn wanted to tell Rey that he is back Force sensitive. Which I'm just like, bummer, okay, but whatever. Next one up is Reylo. Now, this is the thing that I really dislike about the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker. It's just the whole Rey and Kylo connection thing, which their connection thing, like the Force thing, I really like that. Like how they can feel each other while they're in different locations and stuff. That I thought was very cool. But like when it comes to like Reylo, when I mean my Reylo, their possible romantic relationship, even if you call that kiss at the end romantic, just like their whole relationship is abusive, unhealthy, and just flat out just WTF. Like, I can't believe so many people like ship these two, even though that this is probably one of the most toxic relationships in fiction. Hell, even Joker's and Harley Quinn's relationship is more healthy than this crap that we have in this film, and like hence throughout the other two movies. Like, no, Rey and Kylo, that's not my OTP. And especially at that kiss at the end, I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is like some Twilight fanfiction crap right here. Like, especially the fact that I've seen like the whole Reylo community on Twitter and Instagram. I'm just like, you guys are supporting a toxic relationship. It is not even funny. Especially the fact that Kylo is the same person who attacked Rey's friends, because remember he sliced Finn's spine at the Force Awakens, and he attacked Poe Dameron in The Force Awakens, and plenty of other people in The Last Jedi in The Force Awakens, and Rey would be stupid enough to like this person in a romantic way, even though their connection and crap. I'm just like, since when did Star Wars become Twilight? Oh, and Hux is a spy. Yeah, General Hux in this film is a spy, and I sort of thought that was funny how he just saved Poe, Chewie, and Finn, and even though that he saved those three, he told Finn, "I don't care if you guys win, I just want Kylo to lose," because you could definitely feel his hatred for Kylo Ren, especially in The Last Jedi, in that movie, how the Kylo just pushed that guy around. It's just so funny. And the fact that he's a spy in this movie just made it even better. The fake out deaths. This pissed me off to no end in this film. The fake out deaths in this movie, the first one and the biggest one in this film is Chewie. Like with Chewie, when the First Order captured Chewie, they put him onto the ship, and then Kylo comes in and the Rey try to save Chewie, then Rey and Kylo do like this force thing, then like lightning just like zaps out of Rey's fingertips, and then just zapped the ship, and I literally thought Chewie was dead. And the fact that you found out that he was on another ship, I'm just like, are you kidding me? And then C-3PO, who gets his memory wiped, which I thought that, okay, C-3PO is done, he doesn't remember anything. And then R2-D2 gets his memory back, and then Kylo when Rey stabs him, which leads to the next thing I'm going to talk about, and Rey's fake death at the end of the movie where she defeats Palpatine. And I'm just like, oh my god, stop with the fake out death, Star Wars. You're better than this, honestly. As I said earlier, with Kylo's fake death, that led into Leia's actual death. Now, I know Carrie Fisher is really no longer with us. May she rest in peace. Love you, Carrie Fisher. I loved you being part of this franchise, but her death just felt weird. Like, when Rey stabs her, I don't know if this was before or after she said Ben, but she just died. Like, she just, like, died in her bed. And it just felt like so awkward to me. Like how he just died just because of that. At least Han's death in The Force Awakens and Luke's death in The Last Jedi, okay, I can see how they died. But her death in this movie, it's like she just said Ben and then she just fell on the bed because of Rey. I'm still confused on that. And I won't lie and say that I did kind of tear up when she died because, you know, Carrie Fisher is actually dead. But it just felt like so odd to me how she just killed off just like that. And that's my issue with the sequel trilogy. That they just have like something about them and something about the way they killed off our original three characters, Luke, Leia, and Han. Something about it just be like, hey, screw you original Star Wars fans, this is for the new people. So it just like, it almost disrespects the Star Wars legacy, the way they killed off these three characters, and I don't know, I'm just not, especially looking back on the past two films, I'll just go as far as say that that's my biggest problem with the sequel trilogy. It's just disrespecting the past by killing off our main heroes, and just in a way that gives a middle finger to the original trilogy. I mean, moving on next. New characters, but less development. And what I mean by that, we got new characters like Jannah and Zori Bliss, and Jannah is sort of have a connection to Finn, because just like Finn in The Force Awakens, she used to be a stormtrooper, but she left the First Order, and Zori Bliss has connection to Poe Dameron, and these two sort of have a history back in the day, and you don't really get to know more about these characters. Like, you just see these characters, okay, they might be cool, then eventually you'll probably never see these characters again. Or maybe like in a comic book or a spin-off cartoon or whatever. But other than that, like, these characters don't really, like, it's just the fact that I kind of wish this movie was split in two parts. It's the fact that, like, this should have been like a quadrilogy, because there was a lot thrown into this movie. Like new characters and the Reylo thing and the Palpatine. Like, all of this is a two-part, like, worthy film. Like, yeah, one part dealing with other stuff, and then the next part is the finale and the grand epicness, how everything comes together, the culmination of Star Wars. But no, everything is just thrown into this cluttered mess. And also, Chewie finally got his medal. His fans complained since the original Star Wars that Han and Luke got their medal during the throne room at the end of the movie for destroying the Death Star, but Chewie never got his medal for any reason, so he finally got his medal from Leia after she dies. Like, they came up to Chewie and said, hey, Leia always wanted to give you this. Like, right after she dies, like, he finally got his medal. I mean, it was cool fan service, but the meaning behind it, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Next, Lando in this movie. Great to see him back. Glad he didn't get killed off, but it's great to see Billy Williams as Lando again, the scoundrel. And yeah, I kind of like his character in this movie, a very older Lando Calrissian. And like, I love that he still had the swagger that he had in the original trilogy. Well, it wasn't in the first film, but Empire and Return of the Jedi. He still had that sort of like swagger that Lando Calrissian had. And I just thought it was like very great to have that we have an actor from the original trilogy that didn't get killed off. But even though it's great to see Lando, it sort of like opened doors at the end of the movie that he could be the father of Jannah, the new character in this movie, but that still isn't really. I know it was confirmed, but like they really had to do that at the last film. Like, are you serious, Disney? Next, the final battle, I'll have to admit, is sort of a mixed bag for me. Like, you have Rey and Ben Solo, who kind of redeemed herself, who actually had that talk with Han Solo's ghost, that you need to help Rey to defeat Palpatine and all that good stuff. He throws away his lightsaber, then he turns it to Ben Solo. He redeems himself. So Rey, Ben, and they have their fight with Palpatine, and then you have the Resistance taking on Palpatine's crew. And that is cool how like the Millennium Falcon comes in with Lando and Chewie, and then you have the Resistance come in, and I thought that was very epic and cool how they did that. That was awesome. That was amazing to see in IMAX. But like the whole, like when Rey takes down Palpatine, especially when she was knocked down, you could hear the voices of the Jedi, past Jedis before her. You hear Luke's voice, you hear Anakin's voice, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Qui-Gon, even Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. You hear their voices. And at this moment, I thought all their Force Ghosts was going to appear. But then I heard that they had to like delete it or some crap. Once I'm just like, that would have been so cool to see. That would have been awesome to see. But they just, Rey defeats Palpatine so easily. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, she grabs two of the lightsabers, like she grabs Luke's and Leia's lightsaber, puts them together while Palpatine through his electric shock thingies. Then Rey just says, "And I am all the Jedi." And that is so obvious that it's just a rip-off from Endgame when Iron Man does his, "And I am Iron Man," snaps his fingers. That is I mean, some people say it's a coincidence, but I'm like, no. They copied that from Endgame. And speaking of Endgame, this movie could have been like the Endgame of the Star Wars universe. The Star Wars Skywalker saga. But turns out, it's the complete opposite. It's a very lukewarm finale. And that's not that I would expect from a Star Wars film. Even Revenge of the Sith had a better finale than this film. Like, that movie wrapped a lot of things up. And of course Return of the Jedi did, but this movie, it left a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of doors open, and they just had to do this in the final film of the Skywalker saga. Now let's get to the last thing I want to say about this film. Rey Skywalker. At the end of the movie, after she defeats Palpatine, she reunites with her friends, and then her and BB-8 go to Tatooine, and she buries Luke and Leia's lightsaber. And then this old lady comes up to her and says, "Who are you?" And she goes, "Rey." She looks at Luke and Leia's ghost, and then looks back to the old lady and says, "Rey Skywalker." Which I understand, like, what this movie is trying to say, like, just because you're not blood doesn't mean you're not family. But the fact that she carries on her name, the Skywalker name instead of the Palpatine name. I'm just like, wow. Rey Skywalker. And this would have been so much better if this trilogy was planned out. And that's my biggest problem with The Rise of Skywalker. And this entire sequel trilogy. While I do love a lot of things from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, this movie squanders all the things that I loved about those two films. It's a very rushed, very lukewarm, and very underwhelming finale to one of my favorite franchises of all time. And a Star Wars franchise should never end like this. It should have ended like a bang, like Avengers Endgame did. It shouldn't end like the final season of Game of Thrones, where you just have this very piss-poor finale. to one of the greatest things of all time. And Star Wars is the original trilogy, and I had to think about this too. The original trilogy, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. That's like lightning in a bottle. You can't recapture that. Even though I love The Force Awakens, even though I do like The Last Jedi, everything afterwards, everything after Return of the Jedi, it's just either piss poor, mediocre, good, decent, or very good. And I feel like we will never get a great Star Wars movie like the original film, Empire Strikes Back, or even Return of the Jedi. Like, we just can't at this point. I know Disney is working on another trilogy and crap, but at this point, I feel like I'm Star Wars out right now. Maybe by the time when it comes out, I'll probably be excited. But right as of right now, I need a Star Wars break. And I had too many Star Wars and too many disappointments from these new films Disney has produced and putting out mediocre content like this movie. And even like their spin-off films like Rogue One and Solo, I was never like the biggest fan of. Even though I'm kind of glad Disney is putting a hold on those, or even like go as far as like canceling those type of films, because like, who even asked for a Han Solo origin film? Like, who? I mean, I don't know. And Disney, and I'm not saying that Disney has to make anything other than Force Awakens or The Last Jedi or any other great Star Wars thing, because The Mandalorian is pure awesomeness. I will have a review of Season 1 of The Mandalorian very soon, so be on the lookout for that review. Alright guys, I'm done talking about Star Wars. Lord, yes. Psych, I'm just kidding, but yeah, Star Wars talk is done with my channel, with the exception of the Mandalorian review coming very soon. So yeah guys, that's my spoiler review of The Rise of Skywalker and my ranking for the Star Wars franchise, and that's it. That is it. And thank you so much for watching, guys. What do you think of The Rise of Skywalker? Did you love this movie? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just disappointing like how I thought of the film? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're new to my channel and you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and may the Force be with you.